Welcome, guys. Welcome to tonight's show. Please excuse me for the late start. I've had a few technical difficulties in the background. How's it going? Tonight, I'm not sure what's going on with my camera, guys. I will be working on that. And please excuse me if the image is not as clear. But tonight, guys, we want to welcome Miss Èzili Dantò to the show. So if it is your first time here as you come in, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and please share with a friend. Miss Èzili Dantò is a human rights and international attorney, an award-winning playwright, performance poet, and cultural activist. She was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and raised in the United States. She is a Haiti scholar and runs the ZiliD network, the Free Haiti movement, the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network, and ZiliD, where they offer clean water, renewable power, and skills transfer for Haiti. Ezili is the author of 10 plays and 2 book series. She regularly conducts Haiti teach-ins on the non-colonial narrative on Haiti, centering on Haiti's wealth, natural resources, revolutionary culture, voodoo spirituality, and her expression of this through the voodoo jazzerty performance production. Ezili was featured as a Haiti scholar and historian in the documentary 1804, The Hidden History of Haiti. In 2018, Ezili was honored at the Connecticut Women Hall of Fame for her lifetime of justice and cultural advocacy work. And I want you guys to help me welcome Miss Èzili to the stage. Welcome. Hello. How are
Honneur,
you?
honneur, honneur, honneur et respect.
It is it's awesome to have you here with us. And I do apologize for all of the technical difficulties which caused us to start late. But we're never late because I'm sure myself and many others are really, really happy to have you on the show. I've shared some of your bio, but can you just share a little bit more about yourself that may not be in your bio?
That's not in my bio. Uh, I'm a human rights lawyer. I was born in Haiti, Central Hospital. My parents left Haiti when I was very young. I became a lawyer, but before I was a lawyer, I was a performance poet. And I was always doing Haiti work. I currently have a case in Haiti against the Haiti government for asking for an invasion force. You all can find it on my website at ezilidanto.com. Um, yeah, so that's who I am.
What inspired you being raised in the United States, traveling at such a young age out of Haiti? What inspired you to make your voice heard for Haiti and to become an activist for the Haitian people?
Um, I've always been someone who defends those who can't defend themselves. That's why I became an attorney. And a long time ago, I've been doing this for a long, long time. I've been a lawyer for over 30 years. So a long time ago, when the Duvalier regime came down, my parents were so excited. They thought, was a time maybe they could go back to Haiti. They thought things were going to get better. And then within 7 months of that, the United States did a coup d'etat against Jean-Bertrand Aristide. And I saw how crushed the people were in New York. I was a New York lawyer. I'm a member of the New York Bar, the Connecticut Bar, DC. And it brought, I started writing. I was always a writer. So I wrote this one article. It was called Haiti Women Silent No More. And at that time, there was no social media, but it went on something called the AP Wires. So I was in Stamford, Connecticut. I wrote this piece. At that time, I was doing corporate finance law. And I said, if the people of Haiti, my understanding was the people of Haiti had voted for this person. How could the United States back a coup d'etat against him? So I wrote something about Haiti women silent no more. And I talked about how I was walking by the UN and I saw these Haitians protesting and asking for the return of Aristide. And at that time, representing all my corporate clients, I just felt like I was very disconnected. So I wanted to help. And that started my journey. From that article to 30 years later, I am probably the largest voice defending Haiti against imperialism on a consistent basis since I went back to Haiti in 1994. From that article, Aristide read it when he was in Washington, D.C. And my understanding is that he asked someone from Stanford who knew my family, could he get an introduction? And I went to something in Yale where he was speaking. It was like 92, 93. It was before, And he asked me to come to Washington. He asked me, were there any other Haitian lawyers like me? I said, I had no idea. And so he said, I would love for when I go back, if I go back, for you guys to come and start something called a defense bar for all of the Haitians who were being hurt by the coup d'etat people. At that time, the gangs were called FRAP. And it was led by this guy named Toto Constant. And he was a CIA agent. So that's how I entered. That's how I began. There was a lot of killings. There was a lot of rape. And I put together something called the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network, HLLN. And so I went back when Aristide finally got back to Haiti, and the purpose was to rotate Haitian American lawyers who wanted to assist with the rule of law at that time, back in 1994. And that's how I began. And what I found out was at that time, Bill Clinton was the president. And he essentially said to Haitian Americans at the time that, he wanted us to help Haiti. And I sort of felt guilty because I was living a decent life. I was able to be a lawyer, and then I performed. So that's how I got started. And I brought I had all my paralegals try to figure out how many Haitian lawyers there were, because when he asked me, I had no idea. And so they did, my whole office got into it, right? They did a survey. And what we found was that, and this is 1993, 94. What we found was that at that time, if there was 10 Black people at any law school, at least 2 were of Haitian descent. 2 or 3, almost 30%. So then we made a call and we said, hey, listen, we want to volunteer our time, and we'll have a structure. And if you're interested and Aristide goes back, we will do this defense bar to give back. And so that's how I ended up in Haiti as the legal advisor to the president. And my job was to try to do judicial reform. What I found out, though, and the reason I'm here now, is because the U.S. ambassador and the NGOs and USAID, I had a list at that time of 250 lawyers who wanted to help and who were young Haitian Americans, and there was like 50 lawyers that were in exile that had came from that was part of the whole Aristide crew. So about 250 plus 50 from the Port-au-Prince bar. That's what the HLLN, you guys are reading under my name. That's what it is. Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network. It wasn't supposed to be something that I led. It was supposed to be something that I helped create for the government so that defense bar, because in Haiti, there's no defense bar. If only the rich really, if you were poor and you couldn't get a lawyer, you really couldn't get the state to hire a lawyer for you. So we were going to do that. But as I said, the U.S. ambassador and USAID said to me that the only way I can stay in Haiti was if I worked for an NGO and I worked with them. And I said, hey, listen, I didn't come here to work for the United States. I came here to work for my people. And that started my journey. They tried to kill me down there. They did all kinds of things. I didn't have any family, so I was living in I didn't have any direct family that was in Port-au-Prince. So I was living in the El Rancho Hotel. And one night they got so mad at me because I wouldn't work for the U.S. and I wouldn't give up my list of lawyers. So someone shot up my room with these big UN caliber guns. And that's how I started my journey, because you just don't do that to me. And I was like, oh, you got the wrong woman. And so it's 35 years. I've had 6 assassination attempts that I know of, but I am here. And that's how the Haitian Lawyers Leadership started. I took the Haitian Lawyers Leadership because, even Aristide became scared of me because I would not work for the white man. It's like, I don't work for a white person at home. I mean, in America. I got this side of this land and work for you. And I wasn't hungry. But they offered a lot of money. $250,000 was a lot of money back then. And they actually did take a lot of the lawyers that were with me on the other side working for USAID. And whenever they saw me, they would walk the other way because I didn't have money to give them, but USAID had a lot of money. Some of them became very big in the UN minister mission in 2004. That's how I started.
Wow. Let me ask, what was it like working as an advisor to a Haitian president? What did it consist of? What was a day at work like for you as his advisor? And do you think that being a man or a woman, does it make a difference?
Absolutely. IT is misogynist, retarded. Everybody thought I was sleeping with Aristide, and that's why I was his lawyer. And they advised me to do that too, which was even more retarded. The women. So I remember, I'll tell you a story that's very relevant to today. The guy who's part of the 7 or 9-headed CARICOM snake right now, or CARICOM US backed transitional replacement to Ariel Henry.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Well, at that time, Leslie Voltaire was, he's the guy from Lavalas. We used to call him Chinois because he looked like a Chinese guy. He was the chief of staff of Aristide. For whatever reason, Aristide had called me in Connecticut at my home, disturbing me and asking me to come down. But when I got to Haiti, what I noticed at the National Palace was a lot of chaos. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if they didn't want you to get close to Aristide, that was like almost like he was some sort of like, I don't know what it was, but I do know that they tried to stop my communication with him when I got down to Haiti. And I, I'm like a very impatient person. I came to do a job. I got an office. I had two offices, one in New York and one Connecticut. I had clients. I'm like, get it all together. But when I noticed that there were people that I knew from New York who were very close to Aristide, and they was like, just hold on, hold on, hold on. We're gonna get you in. And I remember at that time, I'll never forget it because I still have them. So it was, the scenario was, there was 3 years of of coup d'état with Michel Francois at that time, kind of the Guy Philippe of now, of 2004. He was the Guy Philippe of 1994. Um, the Haitian, what do you call it? Not police, but military at the time was led by a guy named Cedras. And they hated Aristide. They were going to try to kill him. So I remember when I was like going in for a meeting inside the palace, there were these Americans that would, like, they had to make sure there was no bombs in, under your car. So I remember that. So every time I went to the inside the palace, they would have to check to make sure you didn't have any bombs and you had to get out, that sort of thing. I also wasn't used to guns. And I remember I eventually became advisor to the Minister of Justice because I wasn't going to just wait around for Aristide. So some Nobel Nadin at the time was just an elegant man. And he was working with Aristide, and I knew him. And he said, "Here, listen, okay, take the reform, go to the Justice Department, and start working with the Minister of Justice." And so, because I came from America and my education was kind of the organizational woman, so for me, there were three different there were three different branches of government. There was the executive, the judicial, and the legislative, right? So I said, sure, I'll go, because that's the person I'm working for, anyways, the Minister of Justice, with this reform. So I ended up going to the Minister of Justice. His name was John Exume. But in terms of the everyday life, I remember that when Aristide came back, it was all of these the regular people. They lined up in the streets, and whenever I went into the palace, they would give me notes to give him. Um, and they had all, it was very touching, but very sad because I know those notes probably never got to him. Um, that was the era. That was the time.
Hmm. Can you, from, because so much has happened in between, and there's a lot of questions that I have. And welcome to the live, everyone. Please ask questions, interact while we are live, and have Miss Dantò here with us. So much has happened in Haiti from 1994 to 2024.
30 years.
From someone who have an insight, can you share with us what you think or know that's brought Haiti to here that the media is not telling people, because the media have a narrative and they push their narrative. But for us that's more involved, we know and see things differently. So, can you share with us some of what you feel in between that's been happening that the media is not sharing with us?
All right. So in 1994, the first thing I noticed when I was in Haiti was the apartheid. There is a strict apartheid and class system and colorism. It's worse than it is even in South Africa. And the economic elites, they just talk bad about the masses. You know, they used to want me at their dinner parties because they were like, "Oh, you're a beautiful woman. You can't represent Lavalas. Lavalas is ugly. Lavalas is black." And I used to look at them, right? I just let them go ahead and say all kinds of things like that. But that was what Michel Martelly was singing. And that's what they were putting out there in the airwaves, you know? So that's what I noticed first. I noticed the racism in this Aline's land. And then I noticed the economic racism, the economic distribution. What I so as the as a foreigner in Haiti, even though I was born in Haiti, right?
Mm-hmm.
They looked upon me. They didn't look upon me like that when they were asking me to come to help. But as soon as I got to Haiti, the Haitian oligarchs and the Haitian bourgeoisie, they start calling me diaspora.
Hmm.
I'm like, well, okay, but I wasn't diaspora when they needed money to bring Aristide back. I wasn't diaspora when they want money from, but as soon as I got to Haiti, and the fact that my base language was Creole and English was another way of discrimination, right? Because they wanted me to shwe in français, and for whatever reason, I never could do it. I dislike colonialism the way Dessalines disliked colonialism. You know that song, "Blanc, blanc, blanc, parlez with Dessalines." Well, so for me, all of that was very obvious. So the first thing I think we need to understand is that you can never have a nation, a working nation, when lawyers in IT are making, that went to school, that are teaching the white lawyers coming into IT what the law is, but they're making less than McDonald's wages. But these white people are making $500 a day. As soon as I saw that, I said, we can't have a nation like that. When everybody wants to work for an NGO because the local economy can't pay you the money that you're going to make for the internationals. That was my first lesson. I wrote a paper about it. That paper, when I came back, it was what I brought back. I said, they can't have a nation when foreigners get to make more money than the most educated and superior Haitian brain. So that's kind of the first thing that I learned, and then of course the oligarchy, right? I started studying because I'm a very scientifically based person. I want to know why things are the way they are. Why would they not want Aristide? At the time, like I said, I was very naive. I thought the one person, one vote should belong to my people too. I didn't think we should just have fake elections. And the United States was apoplectic that the people actually voted for someone they didn't want. And oh my God, the educated class, they were just so racist against their own selves. They were singing so like racist songs that if you try to do it in America, you would be charged with hate crimes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they were doing with Lavalas. And although I was not, I was a lawyer, I wasn't, Haitian American, I couldn't, be part of their like political party. You couldn't tell that to Haitians. They were just like, "Oh, you're representing Aristide, so that means you represent whatever we think that is." And I was like, "Listen, I represent the one person, one vote in the Haitian Constitution. I am a lawyer. If he was voted in, he should be allowed to do his term." But most Haitians, the United States, who is now talking about democracy, at that time, it had the United States has been running Haiti since 1915, since the first occupation, and it left the Haitian military to maintain that rule. So every Haitian president since that time have come in through U.S. and the oligarchy. So I was born in a colonized nation, and in that colonized nation, they use overseers like they used to use them back in slavery. And those overseers are their conses and their middlemen, right? Those middlemen used to be the economically free Black men or the mulattoes. By the time I got to Haiti, there was no real mulattoes. It was just Syrian, Lebanese, and Palestinians. They had replaced the Haitian traditional race, Haitian oligarchs. So I think the most important thing I learned was the salary thing. And people did not like me saying that, especially diaspora, because they just wanted to go to Haiti and do the same thing that the other people were doing. They all wanted to work with, NGOs, work with the government, just make money. And I remember what I noticed was people went into the ministry at that time as a stepping stone to get an international job, because they knew they can only be a minister for maybe 2 years, but not even at that time. It was like less than 6 months and they were out of there. And I also learned that there was no such thing as a separation between executive, judicial, and legislative. In Haiti, the president runs everything. Aristide was micromanaging everything. I'm like, why do you have people working for you if you micromanage everything? But I learned that that's how they are in Haiti. Like giving other people, like when I run my law office, everybody has a job to do. But not in Haiti. When I got to the Minister of Justice, because he had a letter from Aristide, and because I spoke English, he was like, "Listen, could you help me do?" Because at that time, the Minister of Justice, his name was John Exume. He was a really good guy. He had a list of projects that he had put together that would help reform the justice system. And in his list of projects, the Justice Department is in charge of 3 other departments: the courts, the jails, and the judges. The courts, the jail, and the courts, the jail, and the ministry, right? So those were all under him. But there was no uniform connection between them. Like for instance, the law says that if you get arrested within 48 hours, you should have a hearing, right? But when a judge gives the mandat to go arrest somebody, right? The justice doesn't know about it. The prison doesn't know about it. Like they were not connected, right? So I try to work on that, okay? Because it's like a computer. As soon as you write the manda, make sure a copy goes to the Ministry of Justice and a copy goes to the prison. So if that person doesn't end up in prison, you want to know, where is he? That person
Mm-hmm.
doesn't end up, seeing a judge within 48 hours, like, know. But just asking people to do that, they wanted to kill me for that.
Mm-hmm.
Just that. I'm like, what the? What's wrong with these people? And they all thought I wanted to be Ministry of Justice because I was trying to, like, work on a
Do the
problem.
right thing.
I'm like, Negro, listen, okay, I got a career over there at home. I just want to give a hand. I don't want to do a 9 to 5, but that's their mindset. I'll
Hmm.
give you another thing that happened to me at the Ministry of Justice. So I used to take um there was this guy who used to drive me from the El Rancho Hotel to the Ministry of Justice, right? And they were like, why is this girl coming to work? She's an American. What is she doing? Right? But I committed to do this work. So I went to the Ministry of Justice, and one day I was there, and you notice everything, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a lawyer, right? I'm supposed to observe, right? And I didn't know anybody, so I didn't have no moon pie, right? I only got there
Mm-hmm.
out of my own work. So this really not young looking guy, he came up the street and he just had sweat. He came up, and I was at the minister. The minister wasn't there, and I was at his office. And he says, I want to talk to the minister. I said, well, he's not there. Can I help you? And he said, I'm the head of the national penitentiary, and they haven't had any food for like 6 days, the prisoners. And apparently there were NGOs that gave food that was supposed to go to the prisons, or certain people at the ministry who were holding them so they can sell them. But I had no clue, right? I said, well, where is the
Mm-hmm.
food at? Like I said, you know, in the ministries, whatever, someplace in this ministry. And me, that's what I would have done in America, right? There's a problem, you fix
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yes.
So in the courtyard of the ministry, there were all of these taxis. Like, they just stood the whole day waiting for you to finish because they didn't have another fare, which was really
Mm.
bad. I felt bad for them. So I was like, okay. So what I did was I went outside, and I said there was like 10 taxis there, just sitting there waiting for the people to get out at 3 or 5 o'clock so they could take them home. I was like,
Mm.
I'll pay you to go do something for me, right? Oh my God. I didn't know I was doing something wrong. So I went to where the food was. I put it on in the taxis, and I put that poor man had walked. He didn't have a car, and he was
Mm.
the head of the national penitentiary. He had walked to, you know. So I
A
sent him back with the
disparity.
food. Yeah. Oh my God. When
It's,
the people
mhm.
came in, they were like, you just don't do that. I'm like, but there was a riot at the national palace.
Jesus Christ. You
Stuff like,
know, it seems like that peace just cannot be a part of what we got going on in Haiti, and it seems like we are our worst enemies here because we just refuse to get it together, because I do believe in my heart that we can get it together. Let's give a shout out to some people. Sherry Hugh, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Mr. Jeffrey Jackson, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you, Marie Noog. Bookman, Sunle, Rickerson. You guys, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Emmanuel, how's it going? Welcome to the live. Sun Lee. welcome to the live. And if you've yet to share the channel, guys, please show some support. Share the live, guys, and don't forget to hit the like button. And if you are new here, to please subscribe. J Blas says, bonjour, bonjour, Bookman. Bookman says, when are you going to take action to get rid of Clinton criminals? One question to Èzili is your opinion on Papa Doc and how the DR is handling the Haitian crisis by sending 10,000 soldiers to protect the border from Haiti. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I mean, this is the first I've heard of it. I mean, there's always like rumors that the United States wants the Dominican Republic to take over Haiti. And then it's the other way around too. I hear all these Dominicans say, you know, they want Haitians out of their space because they think that we want to take over their space. You know, that's why, you know, Trujillo killed 37 to 40,000 of us because they wanted to whiten their country. So no, I haven't actually heard that, but I do. A lot of my work is teaching Haiti history. If you guys know, I was part of one of the scholars in the 1804 movie. I always teach about the women of the Haitian Revolution, and I always teach about what will take us out of here. I mean, I don't think Haitians actually understand the enormity, the war that's against us, because we are always forced to only see the black on black crime. And so it's very hard for Haitians to see the imperialists and the hand of the imperialists because they push on you, and it's a racist strategy. They push on you black on black crime. Give you an example. Right now, there are two corrupt spaces in Haiti that are at the forefront of the politics of Haiti. But both of those spaces are controlled by the core group. And we have to understand that very clearly. Okay, so the core group, for those who don't know, is 6 nations plus 3 European post-World War II organizations, right? Those 6 nations are nations that our ancestors beat in combat to get rid of enslavement. Those 6 nations are the United States, because the United States had an embargo, right? The United States was helping France. So the United States, France, Canada, the top 3. I know for a fact they want to depopulate Haiti. How do I know that? Because I'm not one of these, you know, people who just come and speak. I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't do lives. I'm always working, right? So I told you what happened with the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network. Where does the Free Haiti movement comes in? Well, by the time I got out of Haiti, that was 1994, okay, and went back to my law office. It was like something had entered my body and I couldn't just leave the people to what I saw. What I saw was that the greatest power on the planet was creating divisions, inciting divisions, making sure that there was never a unity within the Haitian people so that they can control our resources. So from 1994 to 2004, I studied, that was 10 years. I studied our history, not the stuff that the academics talk about. I studied the Lacus, the Combites, Vive, Haitian philosophy. I mean, I read their stuff too. I read Maggio. I read that Patronite. I read all of it. And then in 2004, and then I created a play, a one-woman show. I was a dancer back in the day. It was called Red, Black, and Moonlight. So you're always going to see me with that, silver, black, and red, right? So for 10 years, that show, I traveled the world with it, Red, Black, and Moonlight. And it was about the experience I had in 1994. You can see parts of it in my, IG, my YouTube, and I learn Haitian culture. I learn, Vodou dancing, the Igbo, all of it, because that's how I could express myself, was through movement and through poetry. And I did Red, Black, and Moonlight. And I won major, playwright awards in Connecticut. I part of it is the reason today, my advocacy work and my artwork. That's one of the reasons was I was honored by the Connecticut Women Hall of Fame, and I'm very proud of that, because it was the first time that Èzili Dantò, the most powerful archetype of Haitian womanhood, is not only something that people say about Haiti, because she was the oracle, the loi, the irreducible essence of the Queen Mother that quickened the people over at Bokai Mambo Inan. What you guys say is Wakaima, it's Bokai Mambo Inan. So she was that first archetype that came to help us break our chains. So I try to live that. I try to represent Haitian children, Haitian women, those who are weak. And right now, our weakest links are the Viva Ensemble people who are killing us, right? In Port-au-Prince. I call them the men in U.S. arms, because we don't manufacture arms. And then this 9-headed U.S.-backed CARICOM replacement to Ariel Henry. I told you before that I have a case against Ariel Henry for wanting to bring an invasion force, right? And that case is because it violates the Haitian Constitution. And I've spent my whole life trying to protect the Haitian Constitution. Remember, that's what the Haitian Lawyers Leadership was supposed to be about, was to uphold the rule of law and the cultural, economic, and social economic rights of Haitians living at home and abroad. That was the mission statement, right? But in 2004, as I was performing Red, Black, and Moonlight, which told about my experience in Haiti, like, for instance, I have a piece called Breaking Sea Chains, right? There was one point while Aristide was demobilizing the army and trying to get rid of chef de section and all the people that Duvalier used, right, to maintain an iron grip on the countryside and on the people with the Tonton Makouts. As he was trying to break that, the U.S. was trying to do the opposite. So the U.S. would take young people like Guy Philippe at that time and send them to Ecuador, because the United States must control your military and your police. That's how it controls you, because they don't, their interest is not about Haitian life. Their interest is about protecting the property interests of the Syrian Lebanese oligarchs, who are the middlemen, the commandaire for the white corporations and resource plunderers. So part of what the United States says about Duvalier, the 30 years, father and son, that they were in office, that they were, killing like over 100,000, between 60 to 100,000. That's how many Haitians that Duvalier killed. But today I hear Haitians who have no clue talking about how, oh, well, at least we had law and order. Well, at that time, you couldn't talk. If you said one word bad, that no, or they suspected you of saying something bad about that, you would get killed, period. So all these people talking about how they want Duvalier back in a dictatorship, they would have been killed. So that's what the Haitian freedom fighters before me, they got rid of that dictatorship. That really made the United States mad. The United States said that, and this is really important because it's still the same paradigm. I always, when I'm teaching, I tell Haitians to get out a map, see where you are, especially Haitians who are literate, because the oligarchs and the paid, like most of the journalists in Haiti are all paid for. Machamiko. Don't listen to a word they say, right? If you want to learn anything, come to the Èzili network. You can find me on Facebook. There's the Free Haiti movement. You can ezilidanto.com, that find me and learn your history, because without your culture, you are just without a root. You're just this branch that's just nowhere. But Duvalier was allowed to stay in office because he was anti-communist. What does that mean for the United States? We are between Cuba and Venezuela, two client states of the Russians, which at that time was the US's greatest enemy in terms of like power, right? So if they suspected you under Duvalier of even being socialist or Russian or friendly or wanting to do combit, what you see those people are doing at Wanamet, if they were doing that under Duvalier, they would have killed them all, because they would have said, that's not capitalism, that's socialism when you all work together. And they said, we can't do that. So the people who are telling you that Duvalier was good, they wouldn't have the Wanamet Canal that the people are doing, because we work in combit. That's how the Lacous worked. But the United States wanted large plantations that were owned by foreigners, because that's what they have in the other 14 nations of the Caribbean. There are 15 Caribbean island nations. Okay, let's say we're the 15th one, but we have the most population. They have like little tiny populations, right? There's maybe 3 million in Jamaica. Okay, but they teach my children, my Haitian people, that we are the worst of the worst. But yet without us, we are the pioneers of human rights in the world. This is what the United States wants to erase. We are truly the land of the free and the brave. And I know many Haitians have not done this, but I have. I'm not one of these Haitians who are going to say, oh, I feel like I'm at fault. Nuh-uh. I went to Haiti, I saw what was happening, and I stood, and I have for 30 years defended the people and stopped a lot of stuff that minister was doing. I was the first lawyer to put to jail an NGO person who was sodomizing little boys at orphanages. His name is Douglas Perlitz. Go look it up. Wow. Right? I also was the first lawyer to start the cholera case. But the only person you're going to know about are the white people, because they're supposed to be the heroes of the universe. Èzili Dantò and Ogu are not heroes, but let me tell you, the archetype of Èzili Dantò and Ogu gave the world the first space where slavery on this planet was outlawed. The first place where white people were not allowed to own land because we had been exploited for 300 years. 300 years of brutal enslavement. But you see, this 9-headed snake right now, they have agreed to bring in another occupation force. And the thing about it is, I told you Leslie Voltaire was there in 1994. Remember? He's still here now as part of the council. So these men have been around for a long time. They're part of the problem. What we need, Haitian, are Haitian who are going to look at that map and understand that there is no way the United States is letting us go. And you can't talk to it. You got to find power and leverage. All these politicians who want to be president and all of these Haitians on the radio talking about like hitting each other, talking about, oh, it's Moïse Jean-Charles, oh, it's this and this and this. No. At the outset, it's the imperialist system. The imperialist system runs through chaos. They create chaos. So let me give you your first lessons, Haitian. When something makes no sense, that was one of my maybe second lesson in Haiti, like the second week I got there, right? I'm a rational human being. There was things happening that made no sense. And I was like, why is this happening? And what I learned was, and learn this quickly or you die. When it makes no sense, there's some vampire in the U.S. Embassy in some basement pulling the strings. Period. Some CIA guy pulling the strings. What you see in the streets right now, all those guys are allowed to do what they're doing because they're not killing the Syrian Lebanese. When I hear Jimmy Cherizier or any of them say that they're revolutionaries, I say, show me one oligarch that's in the streets, that's dead. All I see is the poor, the elderly, the children running and crying. You're not a man. That is not manly. That is not Malcolm X. And it definitely ain't Dessalines. Dessalines left us a constitution, an 1805 constitution. And I suggest that any Haitian who don't read that constitution, because it actually, especially Haitian men, that constitution says what you are, what a real Haitian man is. Dessalines defined it for you. Does anybody know it in the chat? What Dessalines said an Haitien is? If you do, write it down because I've been teaching it for a long time. If not, you remind me to tell them. I hope.
Right.
Question.
Next, we have a lot of questions in the audience, but let's give a shout out to Bookman. Thank you so much, Bookman, for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Generation Love, thank you so much for the $15 super chat. Thank you so much. Generation Love says, Second Chronicle 7:14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive. Bookman says Haitian people must return back to their spirituality, connect with themselves, their ancestors, stay away from the so-called churches. Jesus, that never existed. The churches is dismantled in Haiti. Kombi Pulakai, how's it going, guys? And if you've yet to check out Kombi Pulakai channel, please check her out. This says Auto 718. Hi Marie, life in Haiti. The same countries have been trying to destabilize the Cuban country for years. So what is the difference between Cuba and Haiti? Would you like to answer that quickly? Because I have another question.
Russia, they got nuclear power. We don't have a nuclear power ally. Okay, both Cuba and Venezuela, right? We're in the middle. They've got a nuclear power ally. in their waters. So the United States is not going to have invade Cuba because Russia protects it. We don't have that. We have nobody. And the thing is, the US says the reason why it keeps non-popular people in office is because they are anti-Russia. So they're right-wing, pro-America, and pro-dictatorship. So the only people, the US, right now there's about to be another fake election, right? Because we're under occupation. And in that fake election, it's like the same story. The United States says that it fears that we're going to be a Russian clientele state, right? So Cuba, they've got Russia in their waters. The US is not going to attack it because it doesn't want to go to war with a nuclear power that's like that close to Florida. And then they got Venezuela. And you know who else? Who's a clientele state of Russia? That's right in the waters. Take out your map, Haitien. There's Cuba, right? Nicaragua, Venezuela. Those three are protected and have agreements, security agreements, police agreements, right? The Russians, the Cubans go back to Russia. They get educated. They come back. The Nicaraguans, same thing. The Venezuelan, same things. We're the only one that have been fighting alone for 220 years. And neither Russia nor China are ever going to help us. I know. Because for the 13 years when Minister was taking my babies inside their tanks, creating brothels right there in Port-au-Prince and Matissan, where they use those children and sodomize those children. When I went to Russia, when I went to China, none of them ever vetoed, and they have a veto power at the UN. The UN is the most undemocratic organization. 192 member states from the world, and 5 have veto power. How is that democratic? So the UN is used by the Western Europeans and their white settler nations. The 6 nations that are part of the core group, as I told you, the first 3, United States, Canada, France. The other 3 is Brazil, Spain, and Germany. Spain, why? What's next door to us? I'll let you just think about it, okay? So nothing that the core group is going to do is going to be against the interests of Spain. It lives right next to us in the Dominican Republic. But Haitians are so uneducated. They want to be like the Dominican Republic. They want to be like Bahamas. They don't understand. Their women are prostitutes, period. I hate to say this, but I do work with some Dominican women that are trying to change it. From generation after generation, Dominican women are the 4th most trafficked women in the world. That's what they call freedom. Generation after generation. That's what the Northerners come to do. And Haitians say no. We've always said no, automatically, not even understand. I teach what that means. Tourism cannot develop your country. All you become is props. And then you have, like Jamaica, the worst violence rate in the Caribbean, but we can go have tourism there because you can go to your Wakanda hotel and then have a dread come and sing to you and go, one love, let's get together. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, the people are dying out there in Trenchtown. Haiti have fought on. We are still fighting on. But right now, it took the United. Okay, so how did I start the Free Haiti movement? In 2004, I went back to doing my work and being an artist and so on. And Red, Black, and Moonlight was doing really well. We were just about to get a Broadway show when I noticed that I went to a party actually, and there was like Haitian doctors there, and they were talking about how they were being trained in the Dominican Republic to invade Haiti. It's like, what? Because they always think, she's just a pretty face, she's just dancing out here. She's not listening, right? So I flew back to Haiti, and I told Aristide, honey, they're about to have a coup d'etat on you. The U.S. is training Haitian doctors and Haitian people within the Dominican army, along with Guy Philippe, to invade Haiti. Why did they do that? Because in 2004, it was the 200th year of our bicentennial. The white man is so malevolent, so evil. He did not want a popularly elected president and a working democracy to be happening in Haiti on its 200th anniversary, because that would have meant we had some success. They had to get rid of it. And here, of course, Aristide was asking for the $21 billion back. Remember, the first thing they did to us after 300 years of enslavement and 13-year war, where we beat the French, the Spanish, and the British, where we lost half the population. In 1791, there was over 500,000 Africans in Haiti. By the time the revolution was over, there was only 250. So listen, this is what I always go for the positive, because as a spiritual person, I know that if we keep looking at only the negative, we're only going to manifest the negative. So the way I look at it, we started out at 250,000, and now we have about 13 million. And that's 220 years. And there are a lot of nations, like Yugoslavia doesn't exist anymore. Bill Clinton went to give it democracy, and it no longer exists. Bill Clinton went to give us democracy, and because of people like me, we still exist. But the Haitian diaspora, 80% of the Haitian diaspora are useless to Haiti. They just want to come and be, like I said, like the white man. They think they're more educated, and that means they know better than the peasants who are living there and who are the reason why I'm here. Because they understood that the Port-au-Prince, all those people, those 9 folks that you see playing Games of Thrones, they don't care about Wanamet Canal. They're not going to help anybody. They just want to play Games of Thrones in Port-au-Prince. It's always been like that, right? They want the title. They want the money that goes with it. And they want to be able to go to the VIP lounge at the airport. And, me, I don't really care what you call me. They used to call me Lavalas all day long. I was like, you can do it because, listen, I can carry it. I'm big. I can carry it. And I have carried it, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm the first one to tell you right now that Lavalas, political party at the moment, who just sat there and went in with the rest of those people. I mean, first of all, Lavalas no longer exists. It's a bunch of, I don't know what it is. But the idea, the initial idea was to get rid of dictatorship and to give people freedom of speech and to lift up Haitian indigenous culture. And that's what I stand for. I want to lift up Combi, Lakou, Jardin, Vive. I want to lift up Vodou spirituality, not the little shyster stuff you see that. Because I always say Vodou is something, it has to be scientific. If you can't explain it, it's not my grandmama's Vodou, right? Manifestation is about activating your pineal gland. It's about moving from the lowest chakra up to the, that Yanvalu dance, right? Moving that undulation. I teach this stuff, okay? But I can tell you that right now, the United States wanted to bring us here, but we are the resistance. I'm part of the Free Haiti movement. They start February 29th is a very important date. Remember, you can have someone like me who's very progressive, but if the energy in the world is regressive, you have to work extra hard because your own people are not where you are. My own people haven't been where I'm at. They just haven't been. They hate each other. I love Haitien. I love our culture. I love our history. And when I walk into a room, I own Èzili Dantò. And I'm looking for Ogu. Where is he?
So with everything that's happening, let me see about our people in the chat here. That have a question. Let me see. Someone asked, Ms. Dando, can you please tell us how Dominican Republic is also playing a role in keeping Haitians depressed and oppressed?
That's a very recent thing, because I tell you, when I was in Haiti in 1994, you know who were the prostitutes? I remember that. Okay. For whatever reason, the prostitutes were Dominicans in Haiti back then. We hadn't gone to the pathology right now. It wasn't something that you normally saw. Now you can see men in the streets, right? Because that's what a foreign troops brings to you, because the Eurasians are sort of natural pedestyle, right? And that's what their gym is about. That's what their Roman army with no clothes was about. That's what their cabin boy was about. That's what they did in slavery. So the Dominican Republic, I'll give you one example. The U.S. wants to depopulate Haiti and to just leave as many mulattoes there as possible, or the Syrian Lebanese buffer races. They have brought Syrian Lebanese all over the Caribbean. I want you guys to look to see who Abinader is. He's an immigrant, right? He's not like a original from like 1791, anything, because they bring them in to whiten that population, because they're not going to have, sex with Black people in the Dominican Republic. So they bring these guys in. Abinader is Lebanese, just like Siaga back in, and so that's what they want. Okay. They want a Lebanese president in Haiti. So I want you to watch who's going to run. They have them in Sierra Leone, Liberia, all over Honduras, all over Canada, everywhere. So Dessalines' blood, and the reason they brought in the UN is because they wanted, most Haitians could say they go back 220 years. But now they left. Some people say 500,000 babies, right? I have a petition against the UN Minister Mission for providing no financial parental support to these children that are now joining gangs. They just left in Haiti. Okay. But the Dominican Republic, back in the 1980s, the La Tibonite area was our bread basket. And our farmers was able to feed the entire nation back then. Then when Bill Clinton, at that time, like I said, I was young. I really didn't know too much. I was learning. But I did ask, why does Bill Clinton have to come in with 20,000 troops when he could just fly Aristide in and that's it? And tell his military to put down their arms. So they told everybody they came to uphold democracy. I was there. What they came to do was to re-image the FROP Death Squad into civil society. That's exactly what they're going to do now with Viva Sam. They're going to re-image them and integrate them into society. And then a woman who's been raped for 1 month in some dark room somewhere in Delma, and you all know those hotels they're keeping them in. I know them. So if I know them, I know Haitian police know. But Haitian police is part of the corruption. They're part of the kidnapping gangs. They're part of the people that take the children inside their shas, like the minister used to do, and go use them for all kinds of awful things like organ trafficking and sex trafficking. Remember, the white man is always going to do his thing on the shores. So if you're on the shoreline in Port-au-Prince, they're going to get rid of you. Look at Carrefour, Cité Soleil, all the people who are being displaced, particularly in the shorelines. Why? One of the things I'm very well known for is talking about Haiti's resources and how much resources we have. So the reason why the Dominican Republic hates Haiti is because of the great Haiti disaster story that the media tells over and over and over and over again. And because their history books tell them that we are the ones that enslaved them, not the white man, not the Spanish, but we. So they take all of their angst, because there's some very sad people, right? I remember a U.S. ambassador told me the way they did their colonialism in the Dominican Republic was that they give most of the people there, the biggest employer is the government. And he told me that's what they were going to do in Haiti. They were going to, okay. So in the Dominican Republic, their army has something like 300,000 people. Why? They're not going to fight any wars. The only people they fight is Haitian. Little Madame Saga that's trying to sell her goods. They'll rape her, take her goods, and make her pay extortion. That's what they're doing. Why do you have 300,000 for the same amount of people that we have the same amount of people, right? We have 13 million. They have about that same amount. Last time I looked, it was like something like 10 million, right? But in 2004, when I went back to talk to Aristide and tell him that they were about to do a coup d'etat, because I was at some party and I just heard it. I'm like, why don't we have spies? How can we run a country without like figuring out what's coming at us? Because the United States has its spies. When I was working at the Ministry of Justice, there were 2 Frenchmen sitting there all day long. I'm like, what are you doing here? And they are at every ministry. We have no spies. We have none of that. So I went back and I told him, and he never forget what he said to me. He opened up the window and there was like all these emaciated young Haitian men. And he said, they're not going to let it happen. I'm like, listen, Negro, you're supposed to protect the people. It's not the people that's supposed to protect you. But you see, Haitian politicians depend on the people to protect them, to provide them with popularity so that they can then go to the white man and say, like Guy Philippe is doing right now, the people want me. You can't protect the people. How long? This is like, so what I was saying before is right now we have the so-called gangs, which is death squads that the United States used. Remember, they initially, Mateli came into office. And I remember on his campaign, He used to fly in, and you guys know this. He used to fly in gang members from New York and drug dealers from New York to come and do his campaign and push money to the people to go and vote for him. You all remember that. One of them, Rosemond Jean, look him up, or Haitian Jack, look him up. And with Wyclef Jean, that's what they were doing. Remember Praz? Praz is about to go to jail, for something like $100 million that he was doing with some Chinese guy. What happens is that we become just like what we're trying to fight against. And this is why I say to Haitians, you can't become what you're fighting against. You can't become as corrupt as the vampire who has for 220 years wanted to destroy you. So in terms of the Dominican Republic, they make more than $2 billion a year of selling us foul food. Because when Clinton destroyed our livestock, the black pigs, when Clinton destroyed our food sovereignty in the Artibonite, they started dumping Arkansas rice into Haiti. One of the things that they said to Aristide is, in order to bring you back, you have to agree to X, Y, and Z. The white man never does anything for any. I mean, they're the one that created the coup d'etat. And then they force you to accept their conditions to bring you back. So it's the same thing. The European colonialism, they do the same thing. They play hero and villain. Okay, so so I already told you the story about what does Dominican Republic is like the South winning the war. Okay, just think of them as the KKK, and they're at your borders. They only want your death. Period. I don't understand why Haitians are not taught that immediately as a kid, so that you spell you understand? And right now, what they're protecting is that foul food that they're giving you, so they feel threatened when you become food sovereign, because a country that can feed its people is a country that can protect its people. Because if you can't feed your people, then y'a prend sans good pour aller voter, y'a prend sans good pour tuer, y'a prend sans good, whatever. That's what they're going to do. Which is why, if you ask me, it's very important for us to get, once we get our food sovereignty, the people can get the strength to do what they need to do to get rid of these gangs, these death squads, because we have to get rid of them. And we can do it. We did it already. We got rid of 45,000 Tonton Makuts. And because the people were strong, a lot of them just took their uniform off and, never said it again, except amongst their friends. That's what has to happen now. But the white man right now, he's controlling Vivre Ensemble, and he's controlling the politicians that have just got together to say, yes, bring foreign force into Haiti. That is a violation of the Haitian Constitution. And it also is going to bring in, they're not just going to go to Port-au-Prince or where there are death squads. They're going to go to all the entire nation. And mark my words, they're going to put more gangs in each of those places. Because you know who's coming, right? Kenya.
Let me just ask, do you think, guys, thank you for tuning in. Sherry Hugh, I saw a super chat. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Do you think that things will ever get better? I say this because at some point, it seemed that we have to find a resolution for the people that have to live in Haiti, because not everyone will be able to travel. Do you think that at some point that just maybe people can do the right thing and work towards at least security here within the country? I mean, the transition team. Do you think that? And that, I've said, like, I haven't been speaking any negativity, because we're at a point where we just praying for something to work, right? I mean, do you think that at some point we should find mutual ground? I mean, like, how do you
Okay.
foresee
All right. So listen.
for the people that have to live here in Haiti? Because keep that
Yeah.
in mind. That's one thing
Well,
to.
yeah, I get you. So listen, okay, hope is a Christian thing. Hope has to be, even the Christians say, hope has to have some teeth to it, right? It has to be, it has hope with it, like it's like prayer without action is nothing. So you can pray all day long at the church, but I implore Aisyan to take action. All right, you actually have the power. First of all, if you're in Port-au-Prince right now and you can find a way to go to Andeyo, do it. It's just going to get worse right now. If you're in Port-au-Prince and you can't make that that travel, you have nowhere else to go, then find a way to protect yourself with your community. Get yourself some drones. They're like $90 American. Put 4 people at different corners and know who's coming into your space. And I mean, I say this in America. We're on the edge of World War III. In America, I tell the Black community, get ready. If you can, get yourself another passport. The problem is people think there's someone else is going to do it for them. No one's going to save you but you. And it's not going to be a government. That's the problem. Okay? We are the reason why my grand remember that article I wrote back in 1990 something? Back in that article, I said, where my parents come from, my mother's sister, the consele, like she used to get her mule together with her macomez, like in the middle of the night, and then go bring her stuff to market so she can get to the market by 6. They used to leave at like maybe 2:00 or earlier, right? If they didn't do that, first of all, you fais manger à la jardin, and then après, you levé, y'all mené bourrique là pour y'all vendre, like to sell. And then they come back home and then they have to take care of children in school and so forth. It was actions. So right now, let me tell you, okay, this 9-headed snake is not going to help. The United States is not going to help. Only you can help yourself. I can't tell. That's it. And you have to work together with the people who are around you to help yourself. All right. So what is it you're going to need? Okay. I am working very hard to stop a foreign intervention, because I know what happens when a foreign intervention comes into a country. The rate of the rape and the violence goes up, not down. Okay. I know this because in 2004, when the United States kidnapped Aristide, sent him to the Central African Republic, it became open season for people in Cité Soleil. And many of the diaspora were not paying attention. But between 2004 and 2006, minister in the Gerald True government killed between 14 to 16,000 Haitians. I remember how they used to kill them and then bring an ambulance and take their bodies out.
Well, let me ask.
This happened before, it's going to happen again. What is the answer?
I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want to ask before we move to the next question. How do you suggest that the Haitian people can do this on their own? And why I'm saying this, they have the ammunition, they have the money, they have a lot more of the power than the Haitian people. And for the last 20 years, the Haitian people have been deprived of what education. The Haitian people are, let's say, a lot of our people have suffered a lot, whether mentally, emotionally. The Haitian people have been through a lot, and you can just see it, just interacting or just standing on the side of the road and paying attention. At some point, because I am one, Miss Dandy, that hold hope that things will get better in Haiti, because at times you just don't want being here. You don't want to imagine things getting any worse, because I just know that in Jesus' name it can't get any better. Okay. Now, what are some of the advice that you have for the Haitian people? Like, how do you think that the Haitian people can do it on their own? I mean, and please
because
share
they
the
have to. Because they have to. Because they have to. Listen, where do you find the motivation? Like I said, okay, I don't just speak English. I also have a whole bunch of work that's out there in Creole. So we had 300 years of slavery. 300 years of slavery. There was slavery everywhere in the Caribbean. Everywhere. And the women from the Congo, when they got to Haiti, the women from Dahomey, when they got to Haiti, they had no arms. They couldn't even speak the same language. And yet they knew who the enemy was, and they fought back, and they gave us our liberty. We have more than they ever had. This is one of our greatest weapons. I don't know, this phone is one of your greatest weapons, but it's also their weapon. It's also their weapon. Right now, they're getting ready to just kill whoever they want. They could have done it a long time ago. If they wanted Cherizier or Vito Lom or Izo, they knew their GPS. Could have just sent a drone right to the phone and killed them. That's what they have done to my people already on the streets. So use what you have in your hands, people. So remember, like I said, our ancestors were facing worse than we're facing. Okay? The white man who was the master, they wanted you not just to be subservient and to work to death, but they want you to smile while they did it to you. They would rape you at night, rape your child, and then they wanted you to come and cook their food. What did we do? I know some of you know Macandal. I'm going to leave that right there. Some of you don't know what Macandal did in 1757. Go find out. You have self-defense. I'm a lawyer. Self-defense is a human right, a natural human right. The problem is we have been one of the reasons the United States was able to get rid of the Native Americans is that once they captured them with their treaties. And then those treaties were always going to be broken. Whatever the white man tells you, he's going to do the exact opposite. If he tells you he's coming to help save your life, he's going to come to do the exact opposite. Remember, I told you in 2004, when I went back to Haiti to warn Aristide what was going on, I was in the Hotel Montana, and Luigi, he was the guy from the OAS. He was having an argument with a journalist, and essentially he said the problem we have right now is that Aristide is running Haiti. Haitians are running Haiti, and we can't have that. So that's just the point. The United States will never let a Haitian run Haiti. So what is your alternative? Your alternative is what our ancestors did. Port-au-Prince was always looked at a place where they played Games of Thrones. They were always looking for who's going to be president, and they fought each other. And they were always looking for the white man, the CIA, to approve them. But meanwhile, the regular people were living regular lives, and what they were trying to do is stay away, as far away as they could, to the tax collector, to the government person. Because when they came to my aunt's, marketplace, she knew the only thing they came to do was steal from them, ask them for taxes, but never provided them any services. It's not changed in 220 years. What happens is we watch American TV and we think that that's the life, the life that we want, the life we need to have in IT, but IT is not America. So what I'm saying to you people, to you guys is, I know how hard it is. I've lost so many people in the last 30 years. I'm still standing. And yes, I'm traumatized. We are all traumatized. The earthquake traumatized us. Cholera traumatized us. The gangs traumatize us. The women I'm representing who's been raped over and over and over again. Like when I have to represent them, that's traumatizing. They don't have a voice. That's traumatizing. Still, we got to survive from one generation to the other. You have to survive. So look at it like that. You have to survive. And if you can, don't give up your land. Because people like me are working very, very hard to negotiate for allies for you. Allies that can have leverage for us. Just like Cuba has Russia. They have allies. We have to look at, we're not going to have the regular Eurasian allies. I'll give an example. Right now, what they've done to Haiti, they do in the Congo. The Congo is the richest place, just like Haiti. We have mountains, we have breeze. I have this thing called ZiliD, clean water solar power for Haiti. It was the Hillary and Bill Clinton that tried to destroy that program. But we still did what we could. So no, you have a big enemy. That big enemy does not want you to develop. That big enemy essentially wants you dead. They just want the land. Because remember, Haiti is the old Atlantis. We have pyramids underneath Haiti. In the Bay of Port-au-Prince, Britain lost something like 50,000 soldiers. All their boats are sunk there. These are treasures that we have underneath that water. They want everybody off of that space because they just want their people to come in and take it. Since 1919, the United States knew that we had an oil reserve. They just closed those wells because they say Haitian oil is the reserve of the United States. What we need, the answer, is a generation that loves itself, loves its culture, loves its land, and knows its history. Because it is in your history that you're going to find the answer. Because what you're saying to me right now, Marie, you're saying, hey, listen, we don't see a way out. The only way to see a way out is to understand, what did Glenn Brigitte do? What did Abdarayatoya do? What did Dede Magritte do? I'll give you an example of Dede Magritte. Dede Magritte was a Congo woman. She was the descendant of Queen Nzenga in the Congo. When the Queen Nzenga saw these vampires preaching Jesus and learning to love your enemies, while at the same time they were raping children, making people slaves for life, Queen Nzenga said, well, what do they respect? And someone told her the Pope. She says, I want to talk to him. I want to see if I can stop them taking my people into slavery. She eventually did that. That was a thinking woman. She made a deal with the Pope not to enslave her people. But she always knew, just like the Native Americans, just like you all know, whatever the white man says, he's always going to break his word. The Maroons knew that. Dessalines knew that. Toussaint Louverture did not know that. So they killed Toussaint. So what I'm saying to you is, the answer is your own food sovereignty is in your own security. Unfortunately, we are living in a space right now where predators live. Those predators, the people within those predatory spaces are staying there because they're protecting them, but they're paying a price, right? If you're a young man in the area of G9, you're going to pay a price. If you can't get out of there, find a way to survive. And things will get better, but not this year. Things will get better because, listen, November is coming. There might even be a civil war in America if Trump doesn't win. Okay? Because they're having a civil war right now. It's just they're doing it through the courts. They're at war in Ukraine. They're at war. So the U.S. probably can't afford to do the depopulation that it wants to do. That's why it wants to bring people who already have pathologies, like people like the policemen from Benin or the policemen from, because they're already corrupt. They just want to bring you more corruption. I'm fighting it. Free Haiti movement is fighting that. So what is the answer? Well, we hope, and I hate that word hope, because you have to have leverage. Okay? If you don't have leverage, hope is just a wish. So Cuba has stayed in existence, but its only leverage is the nuclear power of the United States, of Russia. We're not going to get that because we're Black. And Russia wants things in Africa. And it knows that if Haiti is free, Africa is free. So the U.S. has to hold us so that nobody is free. But we will free ourselves, because I did not come here to lose. I promise you that.
Awesome.
And so I did not come here to lose. I'm asking for Dantò to rise. What is Dantò? I tell you, Queen Nzenga was a warrior for her people. She wanted to stop the slave trade. So she made a deal with the Pope to convert her whole entire Congo into Christians. But it was pretend. She used the confessionals as a spy network. When eventually, for years, for maybe like for 30 to 50 years, she did find some peace. But by the time 1791 came along, they had reconquered the Congo, right? And they were sending Congolese into slavery into Haiti. When they got to Haiti, they were already Christians. There was a church, Notre Dame Church. It still exists in Cap-Haïtien. After they were raped and they had children who were sold X, Y, and Z, right? These women became valuable to the slave holders because they were healers. So in the slavetocracy, the highest male position was the overseer, the commander. The highest female position was hospitalier. They each of the plantation had a little hospital, a little clinic, because they would just beat you and get you pregnant. And so these women became healers because they knew they were not just warriors. Abdaraya Toya was a hospitalier. She helped deliver Jean-Jacques Dessalines, some say, right? And then the mother died, and she raised that man, showed him how to fight the Dahomean elite way. Well, the women in the Congo, they were in that church, but they did not use that church to turn the other cheek. They used that church to create a community that protected itself against rapists. They were the Dantòs. When they went to meet Mambo Inan at her place, they helped create the plan for the Haitian Revolution. The overseers, like Bookman was he was a commander. He used to whip people for the white man. But on Sunday, they let him go to church. And on Sunday, he went to that church, and they thought he was just praying to their gods. But he was meeting with the Congo women. And one day they got up and they said, Coupe tete, boule kai, and it was all over because the white man wasn't expecting it. He thought they were subservient. He thought they were praying to this white Jesus, the one that said slavery was okay and you had to obey your master. They learned from Queen Nzinga. You tell him what he wants to know, but you move forward with your revolution. If those 9-headed snake that Caracan put together still have some Dessalines blood in them, they're going to tell the white man what he needs to know. And they'll continue to protect their people. But have they protected the people? Can Guy Philippe stop Vivre Ensemble from killing? And if they can, why hasn't he done it yet? I'm asking you, Guy Philippe. I'm asking you on behalf of those Timalere that just was killed by Cherizier's G9 just a couple of days ago. If you can do it, why don't you do it? Stop talking. Besop, if you can help those people stop being hurt by G9, why don't you do it? Policemen, if you can help the people. I know that policemen are helping some of the people, so I'm not going to continue to say that. But I know the higher ups are U.S. assets. And I also know policemen, I know that they don't pay you. Some of you haven't gotten paid for 5 months. That's our situation. But I can't lie to you and tell you that help is coming from anywhere. The only way, remember what they say? The first lesson, God helps those who helps themselves. Well, people, if you want to find your power, no matter how traumatized you are, if you're listening to me right now and you've been kidnapped, no matter how traumatized you are, try to figure out a way to get out of there. No one's coming to get you. At least try. If you're going to have to die, then die on your feet, Haitien. And the more of you that do that, there's going to be an energy that's going to come. Listen, I'm here because I fought back. I'm here 35 years later because I did not let Haiti kill me. When there was no one there to fight for me, I fought for myself. I mean, I can tell you, I never go into Haiti through the Toussaint Louverture airport because that is owned by American Airlines. And as soon as they see my name, they start calling the Haitian oligarchs who have promised to kill me. And I have been held in a room and kept People like are waiting for me outside. They can't find me. 8 hours. And you know who they have in front of me? The very people I'm trying to help. SEMO or policemen with cargoes on to intimidate me. But when I'm in it, I fight back. I don't actually feel the trauma until like I'm out of it. And then it might take a year to just hit me. And then a day I'm just like, I don't even know how to function. So I'm telling you, I've experienced trauma in Haiti. But you must keep going, and don't be stupid. Don't put your, like, I'm not ever gonna land if somebody asks, if somebody asks me, when was the last time I'm in Haiti, you really think I'm gonna tell them? Or how I get in? Do you think I'm gonna tell them? I'm not gonna make it easy for my enemies. So what I'm saying to you is, it's hard. But if you're kidnapped, fight back, because they could take all the money your family have and still kill you. That's who they are. I don't know who these people are. I don't even know who gave birth to them, because they have no conscience. So I've said to people, for me, I think it's a chemical thing. Some of those 9 people, I don't even know if those are real. Like, they make no sense. They could be clones. America could do whatever they want. Like, ouverts, okay? There is relief coming. I promise relief is coming. But the only relief that you're going to get now, or even the one that's coming, is, you see, Marie, you're doing something. In the reason I came on your platform is because you're doing something. It's in the action that you're going to find the answer. It's not intellectual. It's not me telling you it. It's in the action. Be courageous, Marie. Act. I don't care who your God is. If it comes from the inside and it's true. Remember what in the beginning of the Haitian Revolution, I teach this. Bookman said, the white man's God wants to commit crime. The God within me wants to do good. Okay? Now, I have the luxury of a Western bought education, and I've traveled the world. So I know I don't have to take his God, because I know the God within me wants to do good. I know I come from a people who are good. My parents were good. They worked 3-4 jobs so that I can be where I am today. They're good people. No one's going to tell me that Haitian doesn't exist, because I know it does. That's the Haitian I want to see. I want to see, I'm looking for my mother, my father, those Haitian that worked so hard, brought all their family to America, did all they could to give them a way to be. My parents did not want me to do this. They didn't want me to spend 35 years in Haiti. It's like, we didn't get you out of there so you can go back.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But we all have our mission and our destiny. This is my destiny. Haitien, hear me. My name is Èzili Dantò. Haiti Paperi. My name is Èzili Dantò, and I want you to know that the women of the Haitian Revolution who had been raped, who had 6, 7, 8 children taken away from them, they still fought back. They fought back. They did Bokai Mabu Inan. And during the revolution, they were the ones like Suzanne Louverture, Toussaint Louverture's wife. She was the farmer who was creating the food to feed the army. There's a place for everybody. Not everybody could do what I do. Not everybody can look at the job and not become job. You understand? Because a lot of people, a lot of those 9 people you see over there, they looked at job and became job. I'm telling you, the goal is got a job, but don't become job. But you have to see him. If you don't see him, you're not going to see he's coming. So Haitian, your ancestors dealt with much more. They went through a lifetime of abuse and rape. But yet, when they were free, they didn't go live in retirement somewhere in the mountains with the Maroons. They stayed in Notre Dame and they educated women like Cécile Fatima, women like Marie-Louise Quadavid, who became Henri Christophe's wife. Those women of the Haitian Revolution were taught by these Congolese women, Mbai Toya, when they went to war. And I'm telling you this right now, don't hide your child from this. A family went to war. Your whole family has to go to war right now. Because if you have children in Haiti, they're the ones that are suffering. They have to know we have to fight back. If for instance, you're living in the area of GPEP or G9 or any of them, okay? You know you have to have a particular protocol in order to live. You don't have to tell people who and what you are, because that's not self-defense. Self-defense is making the smartest choices you can without hurting people as much as you can. I have had to make some hard choices. You know, you're going to have to make some hard choices. So food sovereignty is very important. I don't care, even if you're living in the heart of an urban area. Okay, you can find occasion outité pour faire manger. Like, do it. Like, the earth is free in Haiti, people. Find it. Fronti jardin n'importe côté. Like, who's stopping you from doing that? Même si ou l'en territoire moun k'ap tuye l'autre moun, right? Ou a chercher terre, ou chercher son café pour ka bay petit la un petit patate. Pour ka bay petit la, you've got to do it.
Yeah.
And you have a telephone. Si ou ap chercher de l'eau, ou bagay jwen de l'eau, right? Ou ka téléphone a ka montre ki son café pour sou jwen de l'eau ali sal pour filter it. Like, you can learn this now. How to use sand, regular sand, to filter water. Or how to find the spring in a particular topography. Nobody, and if you're like a Haitian who can't go to school right now, but you've already done like your major courses and you can speak maybe some English, there are courses right now that you can take. And I'm going to offer this. Like, I don't offer money to any Haitians anymore, but I can offer to give you information to where you can find the resources to learn another language. I can offer to help you keep your battery charged so that you will learn another language. And once you learn another language, you can find a job anywhere in the world and still sit in the mountain of Haiti. How long have I been saying this? I'll give you a place right now called Saylor, SAYLOR.org, where you can actually get a degree and a scholarship. All you have to do is put an application in. Listen, people, you have to help yourself. What I have found is if I just every month send money to a group of people, why? But if they have a project that we can invest in, then we want to do that. We want you to invest in yourself so that you can make a living for yourself. Like I was telling Marie, one of the things I'm known for is where are Haiti's resources, right? And the other day, Marie helped me, right? Because I'm an old woman, sometimes I don't even know how to use all this internet stuff.
Oh,
And I had sent something to her on WhatsApp. I was like, I want to bring down this audio because I want to, within 2 minutes, she did that. That's a skill, Marie.
thank you.
This is what I'm saying. These are skills. And with those skills that you have, you can help other people and have them pay something for it. I'm willing to pay for what I want to know that I don't know. Marie was like, "Oh, do you have Telegram?" I'm like, "I have Telegram, but I never use it."
I was trying to put you on because you're really busy. So if I want to teach you something, because you're teaching me that, you see, I'm not saying a thing because I'm learning as well. And I knew I could do that, and I'm like, "Why have your attention? Let me have you do and learn." And that we need to do more of that. We have a lot of questions. Yes, no. Well, 60% of schools are closed now. Maybe. I have two questions. Do you think a lot of what's happening is an attack on the youth in Haiti? The
Yes,
country prepares its tomorrow, and it's been years that children in Haiti have not been able to, for a year, you know sit in a classroom at peace for a lot of areas in Haiti. I mean, do you think that's an attack on them?
it is.
And
It
in
is.
after that, because I don't want to hold you too long. I've had you 2 hours. Do you think that Haiti should be paid reparation as well for the damages the people have endured?
Yes, of course. I think reparations, but I also think that we have to have an educated group of people first. So, um, we need at least 5% of the population to know who and what they are, and to love Haitian, being Haitian culture. Once we do that, and then it's not like we're going to be able to teach the people who are old and who are set in their ways. It has to be the next generation. So for me, technology is the answer. Learning how to reverse engineer something, like I was saying, like if I have ZiliD clean water solar power, okay? The we need fuel in order to industrialize or get a country to have some infrastructure. You need fuel. Okay. The other day you guys go to my IG, you could see the thing that Marie helped, right? So one of the things that's we need Haitian to be very cognizant of what's under their feet. I'm asking you to learn what is under your feet. I'm asking you to study where you are. I'm asking you to know where Cuba is, Nicaragua is, Venezuela is, and Colombia is, because where you are is why why you in this problem. Okay, the Biden program is only between Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Haiti. Those are the four. And each one of those people, except for Haiti, has Russia. So the United States wants to destabilize that country by brain drain. So even as the United States is saying to you that they want to bring in a policeman from elsewhere, even as they're saying that, the Biden program is taking out policemen. Even as they know that you need teachers. So who's going to the Biden program? Normally people who actually have a little resource, have someone who can do their paperwork, or they can do their paperwork. So there is a brain drain going on, right? That's an attack on a society, the destabilization, right? the people leaving, they don't understand how valuable their land is. So I'm asking those of you who have to be in Haiti, especially in those areas that are so dangerous right now, at least find out what is around you, why they're moving you. Learn that. And then once you learn that, for instance, lithium, learn what lithium is. I have no idea how to say it in no Creole, okay? But lithium, lithium. Lithium is a mineral that's in Haiti, in those rocks. If you have a moped and you have no gas, if you know how to make a solar panel and you have a lithium rock, you can make a battery and it could run. The United States, Kunya, yo ba nou vive ensemble capturer moun yo. I'm sorry. They give you this Viva Sam Cherizier and all those guys, and then they still killing the people and still depopulating the shore spaces. They're also depopulating spaces where there is resources. If you take some of those resources because you know what they are and you figure out how to use them, nobody's going to teach you. And I was just showing Marie, what did I do? Someone sent me a bunch of pictures that had rocks that were being exported out by the Blanc, right? The first thing I did was go to Google Images and I put the rocks in there to see what they were. You can do that. You could, if you see something and you want to know what it is, you take a picture, you go to Google Images, you put it in, it'll tell you what it is. And let me tell you, if it's lithium or if it's any conductor of electricity, you have a moped.
So poste la yo, c'est moi qui fais photo yo, c'est nan même yo yi. Son côté ba la men, gen le gon équipe blanc ka bote yo, pa ban pa paquet al mette sous bateau. Son ti partner k'ap travail blanc yo, monsieur son bredjen. Monsieur ap travail blanc yo.
Please excuse me. I apologize. I went and searched for the video and I just ended up sharing it. Excuse me.
No, that was good. That was good. I wanted you to continue. It's good.
Okay, let me share it then. Let me share it.
It was good.
Yo, so poste la yo, c'est moi qui fais photo yo, c'est nan même yo yi. Son côté sous tabac la men, gen le gon équipe blanc ka bote yo, pa ban pa paquet al mette sous bateau. Son ti partner k'ap travail blanc yo, monsieur son bredjen. Monsieur ap travail blanc yo. Et monsieur qui tout temps a bote yo al mette sous bateau, qu'on a suivi blanc yo, le prend ça yo, mette non boîte li pote ba l'autre partner. Alors li prend yo pote ba partner nan. Dis partner nan comme c'est artiste yo gen doit besoin yo, soit font bijou, soit faire on bagay quelconque. Li pote yo ba partner nan, les partner nan relim nan regarder papa gen la do bon lo yo men. Gen la do qui clairé, on ba kon si c'est argent ou bien ça lia, mais gen la do base moi ba kon si c'est l'or blanc ba connait. Mais gen la do de pour paraître so yo bon lo yo. Bon bout monsieur casse le fait de pile bagay on pile lui men et ti partner a dit moi ça que pas jouer plusieurs machines blanc plein al mettre dans bateau men là sous tabac là men nèg yo a beauté ressources nous là oui men là.
So yeah, you see this stuff, okay? That's what I did, and I found he's right. You know, he was saying that one of them was very shiny and it looked like there was gold in there. I compared it to a whole bunch of others and there was gold in there and silver in there. So what's underneath your feet, the reason why they're killing you is because of what's underneath your feet. But pa gen moun kap djou. Mais ou gen téléphone. Pon téléphone nan. Put it in Google's Images. And then figure out women, mabdi nou haïtien, okay? Par exemple, Mwen di, mgon ba mta reme fe, se bay Haiti électricité, right? Mais on connaît, nous gen pile ennemi qui pa vle nous faire ça. Mwen gen deux villages que m'te commencé. M'a continué travail sur ça. Même connaît gen un pile jeune homme qui gen moped. OK? Ou quand même faire un moped avec électricité. Toute information ça dans ça. You have all the information. C'est où pour le faire pour tête ou. Imaginez, si vous commencez à apprendre qui gens pour faire un solar panel avec une batterie rechargement, avec wash style qui gagne lithium là-dedans, là, vous apprendre qui gens pour faire. Quand il y a un factory, pour tout le monde venir là, pour changer ça, faire venir an electric moped. That way, the moun oligarchie yo, bijou, tout moun sa yo, qui prend pétrole là, faire payer pour lui là, X, K, Y, kounya, ou une façon pour aider tout. Like, c'est ça Taiwan te fait, c'est ça Chinois te fait. Les Chinois, where America gagne une machine. She ordered one, right? La vie kounya, li retire le pat à pat pour jusqu'à qu'ils en connaissent pour le refaire. La vie kounya là, elle fait plus bien. La vie kounya, c'est nous qui avons acheté machine dans les Chinois. Or la Chine, excuse me. You understand? What I'm saying is we have to use our brains, and especially in technology. Et organisation PAMNA, Èzili Network, si on fait un important comme ça, n'a cherché d'eau. Mais si on est venu, on a besoin d'argent parce que crise, déjà fait ça toute vie, moi. You know, but we want to support moun qui est intelligent like Marie, qui en Haïti, qui a fait ça la faire. Est-ce que vous comprenez? La porter information bah nous que nous pas joindre dans l'autre côté. La bah nous une plateforme pour nous faire communauté. Ça sont communauté. Mais qu'on y a nous qu'a ajouté communauté libérée Haïti. Et si Marie dit moi même parce que Marie déjà dit moi l'école. Nous pouvons chercher supporter l'école là parce que nous connaît Marie. That's how it works. The person you know, you help that person. Each one teach one. You know, you know, that's how it works. You know, I'm going to promise you right now, Marie, with your school, you tell us, you know, na pedos jano capable.
Merci. Ma partager information avec vous à soir et ou à garder. Merci en pied. Est-ce que, do you have any last words? Because I've kept you up 2 hours. I doubled it on you.
Did I answer all your people's questions?
Well, you have so many questions. Like, how many can you take? Because I just don't want to, because I know you have to work and you have so much to do.
Okay.
We have a few questions in the chat.
You tell me one or two, and then we'll see what we can do.
One or two. I saw where it says, Mr. Jean, how's it going? Sabrina, how's it going? Èzili, you don't think that should be the government policy to not allow police officers and members of the government can't participate in those programs? I didn't get the full.
I know what she means.
The money that was stolen from him. I don't know what that's about. Lots of people in the government, yada, yada, yada. Arlene, welcome, guys. Please keep Arlene lifted up because Arlene is going through a hard time right now. You guys know she is one that's faithfully here. So please keep her lifted up in prayer. Did you answer about reparations?
I think I did. I don't think we're going to, even if we got reparations right now, we don't have the right government that's going to do it fairly to the people. I think we need another generation of Haitians who are about community, because I say this to African Americans too. If they gave reparations to African Americans and like a dollar figure, they would take it back in a minute, because we don't really even know what to do with money right now. We would, go buy cars and not anything that would be self-sustaining. I think it's right now they owe us more than $21 billion, but France is not going to give it to you. If they tell you they're going to give it to you, it's because they want something from you. Remember, the white man doesn't do anything unless it's in his interest. So for me, here's the reparation I would like to give my people. Gilbert Bijou is the most powerful, wealthy Syrian Lebanese person in Haiti. His Port Lafiteau, if you look at the map, his port is bringing stuff to Ezo. Ezo's right there in the north, in the south, okay, right where Port Vares is. So for me, if I had resources, I would sue the Bijou family and every single one of the families and people who have legitimately been sanctioned for financing gangs. And then I would get a judgment, and that judgment would go to all the victims of the gangs. And I would take Port Lafiteau, and I would take ZiliD Haiti, which is this company, which makes about $2 billion a year out of Haiti, taking out our lumber and steel. That's what I would do, because I know who the victims are, right? We know who the victims are, like in Carrefour, in different areas, La Saline. If I sued these oligarchs and then I subpoenaed, like I said, the information that Canada has and all the people that said that they're financing gangs, and I got the details and put a lien on his $1 billion house in Miami, that I could do. The thing is resources. I don't have that kind of resources anymore. But yeah, if there was enough Haitians that got together for that, we could do that. I do believe that a good government will nationalize the ports. They should not be privatized to the oligarchs. Would also nationalize all the consulates. All the consulates in Haiti belong to one of the families. And that's your government. And yet they will have like pouches, diplomatic pouches, so that they can bring in their business goods. Whereas the Haitian diaspora has to bring in their goods to the ports and pay all kinds of duties. But the Haitian oligarchy, they bring their goods not only through their ports, but through their diplomatic pouches, because they're the goodwill ambassador for Israel, the goodwill ambassador for India. We need to get rid of that. Here's my solution. I don't think Haiti should be a republic. I think as long as we're a republic, you're going to have these 9 people, politicians, that are just going to want to do the same thing. One of the things that I noticed when I was working at the Ministry of Justice, there was a lot of people that would get a check every Friday, but I never saw them in the office. And I was like, what's going on? So the government is very corrupt in Haiti. There are people that get checks at particular spaces that never even go to the office, but they're getting them. In the meanwhile, we have policemen who are putting their life in danger, who haven't gotten paid 3 to 4 or 5 months. So those things have to be changed. And I'm not sure that the current people right now can do it. We might need to educate the new Haitien who's going to have like the new Haitien for me is somebody like Marie, who's helping herself, who's not looking for a handout, who's helping others with the little that she has. That's very Haitien, you know. That's who we are. And we need more of who we are to be lifted up. So for me, as an international human rights lawyer, I say that Haiti should be a World Heritage Site, that no one should be able to take Haiti land, that all of Haiti land should be combined for all of Dessalines' descendants. White people should not, and Europeans should not be able to own land in Haiti, nor our mines, our gold. All of those should be used to elevate the lifestyle and create infrastructure for the Haitian lifestyle. We can't be Dominican Republic. We can't be like these big hotels where Northerners come and then poor Dominicans are servicing them 24/7. That's not what we say. That's not what our vision is. Our vision is help us scale up the lacus so that the jardin, the field, is automated. It has irrigation. 3 people can push a button and the water will come up and do what it needs to do. Another person push another button, and like a regular farm in America, the indigenous seed is planted. We don't have to do all this hard work because we're going to have Haitian children who are going to learn what modernization is, and is going to personalize it to what we already have. And then we can ask people to come and see our beautiful laku, our beautiful drummers, our beautiful travail nap travail. Right now, everybody knows May is Agriculture Day. And Dessalines said in his article in the 1805 Constitution, which I urge every Haitian to read, because it says, what is a good man? A good Haitian is a good husband, a good father, a good husband, a good father, a good good husband, good, like I forgot. I have to read it. There's 5 things, but above all, it says that a good Haitian is a good soldier, right? So you can just look up the 1805 Constitution, and are those people on the streets killing people? Are they that? Are they a good father, a good husband, a good? Are they that? No. And in his Constitution, he said that the art of agriculture is the highest, most honorable art that there is. You understand? So we need to honor that Constitution. That's what I'm going to leave you with. I want every Haitian to know what a good father, all of that. Okay, that's what a good man is. And so it says, it's Article 1. No person is worth being a Haitian who is not a good father, a good son, a good husband, and above all, a good soldier. So teach that to your children. A good father, a good son, a good husband. And we versed it for the woman, same thing, right? A good wife, a good, all of that. And then you have to be a soldier, because we're living in a hostile American Mediterranean, a place where they're jealous of what you are and they want all that you are. We gave them everything. Remember, for 122 years, we were paying for my grand and Marie's grands who had died in the revolution, right? They said that because they lost Marie's grandmother as a slave, now she was free, that we had to pay them reparations. From 1825 to 1947, we paid. But you see, I'm telling you, no matter what you give the white man, it's never enough. We paid for 122 years an illegal, amoral debt. And now they still want our land. They still want us to give them our gold. They still say that our oil is their oil. So we're at war, people. You have to understand it. I can't say it. We are at war. But if you take action, and it's pure action, it's not just for your own selfish interests. Of course, you have to eat. Okay? So, but it's also for the collective good. I promise you the ancestors will wake up and help you. Let's wake up, Èzili. Let's wake up, Ogu. Because when we do, nothing's going to stop us in this world. And when we free Haiti, we free Africa, we free Black America, we even free those CARICOM Negroes. So that's it. And I see a question when someone says something like, you know, Dominican Republic has the same resources we do. How come we're, you know, the reason is the Dominican Republic people don't have land. Barrick Gold has been taking out the gold in the mountains of the Dominican Republic for 30 years. Okay? They have left those towns, you know, just look it up, with a whole bunch of arsenic and other places, you know, because the minerals, the things that they use to take out the gold destroys their farming lands. And there are whole places in the Dominican Republic that's unlivable, that's retroactive. Okay, the fact that you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means that because the United States and the Spanish and those people, they own those places, they only show you the tourist places. They don't show you that there's a whole bunch of Dominicans trying to get out of there, because if they're not working for the government or the military, they're servicing the tourists. So what do? A lot of Dominicans, they won't tell you, but they try to get to the United States just like Haitians. But what do? They go to Puerto Rico and say they're Puerto Ricans because they're light skinned and they could try to pass. That's what they're doing. But you don't know that. So you think their life is so much better, but they're poor. The people at the top, yes, have money. Just like the people at the top in Haiti, the less than half of 1% control almost 95% of the Haitian local economy. They control everything. That apartheid is going. And if somebody tells me he's a revolutionary, but he's not trying to change the economic distribution in Haiti and not trying to destroy the apartheid, then they're not revolutionary. So the 3 Èzili Dantò points for a new world, we have to look up. Like I said, Haiti is a World Heritage Site. We want to be able to use our resources to develop our own country. I will negotiate a deal for Haiti so that there is no environmental devastation, that things could be done safely, that the people can own their lands and community like they do in Lakou. Every Haitian should be able to have a place where they grow their food. Every Haitian should be able to move up now technologically. Like right now, what Marie is doing, she understands technology, right? She could start a film company in IT if she wants, teach the children how to make videos, teach the children how to go to school remotely, for instance. I'm willing to do that. How to teach, how to use your batteries, your whatever, to go to school. Right now, the schools are not open, but you've got a phone. Find a way to get resources, and there are. It's going to be available to you if you look for it. But if you don't look for it, then you're not going to find it. But it's out there. There are people that are giving scholarships for laptops. There are people that are giving scholarships for satellites for different villages. I've given scholarships for satellites so that you can run your own Delco. If you have a project and that project is going to help more than one person, and you show us how if we invested in that project, you can have it running and maintaining itself, then we will help you.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on LifeInHaiti. I really wanted us to focus on the youth as well next time, because we've been on, and I don't want to hold you too long, and I also want to make this long enough so the people that will be watching afterwards would patiently watch it and learn from it. I want to tell you thank you so much, Miss Dantò. We will stay in touch. I'll be in touch definitely, and you have a blessed night.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you for coming on. Guys, I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for joining me live tonight with Miss Dantò. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about some of the things she was saying. I want to give a huge shout out to my little nephew, Jeremiah. Jeremiah, I just want to wish you a happy birthday, baby, all the way from Haiti. And he love you so much. And I wish you many more. So thank you guys so much. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget, kindly like, share, definitely subscribe to the channel. Leave some comments. We will invite Miss Dantò back, definitely. You guys have a blessed one. Until next time, guys, be kind to one another. Tell somebody you love them. Be the change that you want to see. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Happy birthday, handsome.